worries, no worries. We were on fire, man. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Well,
We
then,
are, man. You're asking good questions. You're asking very good
well,
questions.
this is a lot of fun. And here I'll finish up here shortly. But well, awesome, Zane. Well, thank you so much for sharing that because one of the things that again, I know a lot of our audiences kind of focus on is really having this dialogue with their team, saying, okay, during this uncertain time, there are those that are very aggressive. If you know and you've been through these cycles before, you just realize that, hey, these are just cycles. These are same patterns that you can obviously analyze from previous years and then apply that same knowledge in how to build the right boundary systems, strategies, and tactics to ensure that you build a foundation to be aggressive in the coming years that are going to be up to the right trajectory. Zane, I really appreciate you being on here and unpacking this at a very deep level. For those that obviously have more questions that will want to ask a little bit more, get a little bit more, having this conversation, how to structure this maybe. For those that are listening that want to reach out to you, Zane, how do they reach out to you and be part of what you got going on, man?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. And one of the things we try to do, because we love entrepreneurs, because I'm one of them, is provide a lot of content. And so, best way to get us is really foundersib.com. www.founders, like the founders of a company, I as an investment, B as in bank.com. And we're all there. I have my email there, my phone number there, and we have a lot of content. The books that we've written on how to create enterprise value. We just built an assessment, free. This is all free. We make our money when we do deals, but we work with clients 3-4 years before they ever do a deal. You don't pay us anything. We want you to grow a great company where you want to do a recap. So we have assessments. We can actually take these assessments in the 25 industries that we have sector coverage in and really see, am I investment grade? And so we have those assessments there. And then also we do a lot of workshops, and probably our event that's become the most popular event, Christian, is a deal we call Silicon Y'all. So a website, Silicon Y'all, in the Deep South. And we have 20 of the top software and tech private equity groups in the world really come into Birmingham, about 150 that apply, but we only invite 20, and we invite 80 of some of the top micro from 5 million in revenue to about 50 million in revenue CEOs that have never really raised capital. They're pretty efficient, but they built great companies. And so we do that event too in October every year in Alabama. That's a big deal. Would love people to look at as well. So siliconyall.com or foundersib.com.
Awesome. And guys, those links are in the description below. And again, just like Zane was mentioning, they do have a lot of content out there. So I'll make sure I put all that information. Make sure you go in there, consume that. For those that are listening, a lot of times you don't know all the options. You don't know all the different avenues until you talk to someone like Zane that's able to maybe navigate this properly because he's done hundreds upon hundreds of times. So Zane, for those that are listening, those are in the description below. Zane, I really appreciate being on here. I always love to ask my guests before I let you go fully. You've done very well for yourself, and you've helped a lot of people. Now you're mentoring a lot of other founders to be able to scale and think properly to build the right foundation of a business. And while you're doing this, Zane, what insecurities did you have to overcome to become the successful Zane that you are now?
Wow, that is a good question. I'll tell you, I'm going to be real vulnerable. I hope my competition doesn't see this. My formal education, and I'm not speaking against my alma mater, Auburn, and I have a master's degree in theology. Okay. I worked for IBM for 12 years and I was a software engineer, but in the world I'm in now, investing, helping clients do M&A deals, most of my competitors, their educational pedigree is just, Wharton, Harvard, Stanford. And I'm going to tell you, I got a chip on my shoulder about that. And I'm sensitive because those kind of pedigrees do matter. And so I'm probably insecure about my formal education. But you know what, Christian? It's made me work harder. It's made me be a voracious learner. I read like crazy. And guess what else I do? I hire people from those schools. So I might not be the person, but guess what? I got them all around me, baby. So anyway, that's one of my biggest securities. And then I'll be real vulnerable. I'm a stutterer. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm getting better. But as a little kid, I stuttered. And that caused me not to want to talk much. And by working hard by having some good folks helping me, that's an insecurity. And at times, if I don't get enough sleep or drink too much coffee, I can stutter. And that physical element has sometimes held me back from taking risks. If I get nervous, I'll start stuttering. And you know what I found out about my vulnerabilities? The more I share, the more people see those, the more they like me. They don't want anybody that's they feel like. So when I say I'm a stutterer, sometimes I want to try to stutter because people like me more and they're like trying to root for me. Like, oh, I hope you can get that word out, Zane. They like me more. They become my client. So stuttering and my formal education.
Zane, I really appreciate being authentic and vulnerable, and I would not have known that you struggle with stuttering at all. And I do know in the investing world, it is all about sometimes that Harvard, Yale, Wharton, all that fun stuff. But at the end of the day, you went out there and accomplished the successes you've had, regardless of that. And I appreciate you sharing that, guys. That is my friend, the partner and managing director of Founders and Advisors Technology Practice, the one and only Zane Tarence. Guys, that is Journey with Christian Evans podcast. Until next time. Be uncommon if you can.